Welcome to another video for algebra. In this video, we want to solve linear inequalities. Solve linear inequalities or solving linear inequalities we have to solve it the same way we solve linear equation, which means that we have to make the variable the subject of the formula. So let's look at some examples here. They say we need to solve this inequality and represent your answer on a number line as well as in interval notation. So in the previous video, we already discussed how do you take an inequality and write it as an interval notation as well as representing it on the number line. So let's get right into this video. So if I want to solve this, I'm going to treat this inequality, this bigger sign, this greater than sign over here, I'm going to treat that as an equal sign, and we're going to solve easily. So I'm going to say, well, I need to get rid of the brackets, so I'm going to have 8x minus 4, sign number later, 5x plus 2. Then I take the variables to one side. I have 8x minus 5x greater than positive 4 plus 2. Then I'm going to get 3x is greater than 6. I divide by 3 on both sides. I get x is greater than 2. So this is our answer after we solve the inequality. Now let's represent this. It says that x is greater than 2. So as an interval, I'll say, well, that means that the smallest value of x I do know about is 2 and it's not included. So hence the round bracket. And the greatest value I know is infinity. And then I close the bracket, and on the number line, let's make the number line a bit lower than this because we need to write above it. So on the number line, we are going to have a 2 somewhere there. And I make a circle because 2 is not included, and I point to the right because that's where positive infinity is. Now let's solve over here. We have a fraction. We don't like this fraction, so we're going to make sure we multiply every single term by the LCD, which is in fact 3 in the situation. This is the only denominator. So therefore, I will have minus 2x minus 1 greater than 3 times 2 is 6x, and then I have 1 times 3, which is going to give us 3. So we multiply by 3 here to get rid of the denominator, of course. Then now I'm going to get the x. Let's take the 2x to the other side. Let's have minus 1 minus 3 is greater or equal to 6x plus 2x. So our final answer over here will be minus 4 greater than greater or equal to 8x. Let's divide by 8 on both sides. So that means that I'm going to have minus 4 divided by 8 will be minus 1 over 2 is greater or equal to x. Remember, then that means that x is smaller or equal to this number. What that tells us in interval notation is that the smallest value of x would be then minus infinity, because x should be smaller than negative 1 over 2. So negative 0.5. It should be smaller. So this is the biggest value of x you know about, and it goes all the way to the smaller value. So on the number line, I will have negative 1 over 2. And I know that I'm going to have, this is the smallest value of x, but it is included because we have the equal to sign, and we point to the left because we're going to the negative infinity side. Right, let's practice more questions. What if we have inequalities as well on both sides? Well, when this happens, it's very fun to just get rid of all the numbers that are in the middle until you only have x over there. So let's do that. The first thing I will get rid of is this 1. And the way I get rid of it is by subtracting by 1 in the middle. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So the 1 will disappear. But what I do in the middle, I must do on the ends as well. So I have minus 9 minus 1 is minus 10. Smaller than minus 5x, smaller than or equal to, well, 20, because 21 minus 1 is 20. Now I want to get rid of, let's first get rid of the 5. I want to get rid of the negative 5, but let's get rid of the 5 first. Because when you get rid of a negative, something special happens and you must remember. So let's get rid of the 5 by dividing by 5 here. I divide by 5 there, I divide by 5 there. So what we do in the middle, you do on the end as well, left and right ends. So we have here minus 2 is smaller than minus x is smaller or equal to 4. Now we don't want this negative here, so you obviously divide by -1, or you can say you multiply by -1. Doesn't really matter as long as the negatives are going to cancel out. So now pay attention. In the left end, we're gonna get +2. In the middle, we're gonna get +x, and here we're gonna get -4. But when the x is divided, when you divide by a negative to get rid of the negative of the x, you must remember to swap your inequalities around. So if this is looking this way, it's a smaller than sign. This is going to change to that. This one is also going to change to that. So they're going to turn the other way around. Okay, so this is our answer here. Now let's write this in interval notation. So what it says that x is smaller than 2. So this is the biggest value of x we have, but then x is greater than -4. So this is the smallest value of x that we are going to have, and it's included. So I will make an inclusive bracket and say -4, because this is the smallest value of x we're going to have, because x is greater than that. And we're going to have 2 with a round bracket there, because this is the biggest value of x we're going to have. X cannot be greater than this. It's smaller than 2. So that's how we write it in interval notation. And on the number line, you're going to have a -4 somewhere there, a +2 somewhere there. You make a dot for the -4 because it's included, and we make a circle. Then we connect these together. And this region here really is where the inequality exists. Now let's try out this question a bit faster now that we understand what we need to do. We subtract by subtract by 3 on this side and that side and that side. And we're going to get -5 is smaller than -1/2 x smaller than or equal to 2. Then I want to multiply by 2 to get rid of the half. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on all ends again. I'm going to get -10 is smaller than -x is smaller than 4. Then I get rid of this negative, changing the signs of every number here. So this will be positive. Okay. Then I swap this around so that it looks that direction. This becomes a positive. Swap that around. This becomes a minus. So x is greater than -4. So that must be the smallest x value we have. And the biggest x value will be 10, and it's excluded. And on the number line again, you're going to have a -4 here, +10 somewhere. -4 is included all the way till +10, which is the bigger x value that we know about. Right, let's practice this question. I'm sure this is going to be our last question, and then we'll be done. Right, so practicing this question, we have to first multiply by the LCD, which is going to be 15 in this situation, right? It's the 3 and the 5 here. So when I multiply here by 15, these will cancel out, and I'll be left with a 3. When I multiply here by 15, these will cancel out, and I'll be left with a 5. Then I need to multiply these guys by 15 as well. So I'll just multiply all of this by 15, or you can multiply them separately by 15. All right, so what we will have here is 12x, right? Because this needs to multiply. So we have 12x minus 3, and we're going to have, right, so we already had okay, then let's multiply a 5. -5 times the 2, we're going to get -10 bracket 3x minus 5. I'll multiply that in later on. Then here we have 15x plus 13. Let's get rid of those brackets over there. So I'm going to get -30x plus 50 smaller or equal to 15x plus 30. Then let's get the x's to one side. And if I bring this over to this side, I'm going to get 12x minus 30x minus 15 is smaller or equal to 30 minus 50 plus 3, like that. Then our final answer when we deal with the 30 minus 15 plus 12, that's going to give us 3. But let me just make sure, not 3, I mean plus 45 minus 45. Okay, so minus 30 minus 15 plus 12 is minus 33. All right, minus 33x, and it should be somewhere on the 11 or something. Let's see. So we have 30 minus 50. That's gonna give us 20, and then I have to add 3, and I get minus 17. So I have minus 17 on this side. I divide on both sides by that, and I'm going to get my final answer as positive. So I'll have, let's say, positive 17 over 33. So let's just make sure we did not make a mistake anywhere here at the top, because that's our final answer here. So I'll end up multiplying here by 3. So 3 times 12, 3 times that, and then we end up multiplying by 5. So 5, 10, 10 times that will be minus 30x, and then minus 30x, we also get positive 50. Okay, so far we did not make any mistake, because that's 15 and that's, well, 30. And then we got these to the same side. We have a positive 30, right? So 30x here. And then we take this to the other side. And it seems like everything is correct. Right, so in interval notation, I will say that the smallest value, because x is smaller than the 17 over 33. So in interval notation, I'll say the smallest value will be minus infinity, and the biggest value will be the 17 over 33. On a number line, we'll have a 17 over 33 there, and then we're going to point to the smaller version. But remember, it's included, so make a dot because it's equal to, so we have to make a round, a square bracket over there. Right, that's it for this video. Hope you did enjoy and learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.